Hello everyone, welcome to our writing lab where I'll go over some tips, suggestions, and requirements regarding our course paper. And the first point that I want to stress is that academic writing, at least in our context, should be regarded as an act of altruism in that you want to make sure you are making your reader's life as easy as possible. So you're trying to limit the amount of work that the reader has to do in order to understand the argument that you're making and the points that you're trying to get across. And on a very practical level, what this boils down to is organization. So you can have two papers that contain the same information, but one is organized really well, and the other one, the information is scattered all over the place. And even though they contain the same information, they're both equally right in terms of what they're talking about, the one that is organized is going to receive a much higher grade than the one that is unorganized, because the one that is organized is making the reader's life as easy as possible, and they are writing in this altruistic manner. And what this also means is that ultimately what matters is how your reader understands what you're trying to say, not so much whether what you're writing makes sense to you. All right, you're trying to convey your thoughts to an audience, and the imperative is on you as the writer to make your words and your work understandable to this other party. And so a lot of what we're going to talk about here in a little bit is geared towards trying to make the reader's life as easy as possible and to make it so you are writing in this altruistic manner. Now, there's a couple assumptions that you want to make about your reader. The first one is that this person is someone who is generally informed but does not have specific knowledge of this class or the materials covered in this class. And so if you are going to bring up specific information that you learned about in this class, then you're going to have to provide context for your reader. And as an example of this, you cannot assume that they would know what the tournament is. That's just not something that someone walking down the street would know, or that we could expect that this person would know. And so if you are talking about the tournament, it's imperative upon you as the writer to give the reader enough context in order to understand what you're saying. So you would need to describe what the tournament is, how it involves linking farmers or pitting farmers against each other in this competition where the farmers don't know who they're competing against, and then how placement in the tournament leads to differences in pay. That's all information you must provide to the reader so that they can understand what you're talking about. And if you don't give them this context, you just talk about the tournament, you just state the tournament and go on from there, not only then are you making it so the reader cannot appreciate fully what you're trying to say, but then you're also not upholding that previous obligation we talked about to write in that altruistic manner, because the reader would most likely then have to go seek outside knowledge in order to understand what you mean by the tournament. So again, a way to help you with this is imagine that you're writing this paper for a specific person who has not taken this class, and think about what kind of information do I need to give to this person so that they can understand what I'm trying to say. So again, here you would need to, if you're talking about the tournament, explain what it is, how it works, and then the consequences that result from it. You also want to assume that your reader is convincible if you can make a good case for how and why he or she should see the world as the way you see it, or can see the world that aligns with the argument that you're trying to make. So this person is skeptical in the sense that they're not going to take what you say at face value. But if you can provide a solid argument with and back it with evidence, they're willing to go along with you. And so if you can make a strong case about why, say, the tournament leads to a form of exploitation, or how the government funds new farmers coming in is a process that messes with the markets and may actually hurt farmers in the long run. Those are things that your reader would be willing to buy into, but you have to make the case for them. And if you don't make that case, if you just make assertions, then the reader isn't going to go along with you. And again, this is another case by making a really strong case. That's also upholding that previous obligation of writing in this altruistic manner. And it's also writing in a way that's actually effective in that you're trying to persuade the reader to see the world as you see it.